We're talking to attorney Sondra Santanelli from Pellegrini, Seeley, Ryan, and Blakesley. Hi, Sondra. How are you?
Good morning, Adam. How are you?
Good. Can your employer stop you from physically going into work during the COVID-19 pandemic or make you leave early?
Hi, Adam. Yes, they can. So employers have to follow both CDC guidelines and OSHA guidelines to keep their workforce safe. So during this pandemic, if you're showing signs of COVID-19, like you're coughing, you have a high fever, shortness of breath, they can require that you stay home. If you come into work and you demonstrate those symptoms, they can ask you to leave. And they can actually not allow you to come back to work until you get medical clearance from a doctor saying you're no longer suffering from these symptoms and you're no longer sick or a risk to others in the job.
And what about once the shelter in place has been lifted? How does that work in terms of can you still be prevented from going into the office by your employer?
Yes. So even if the shelter in place is lifted, there's still a pandemic nationwide with COVID. So an employer still has a duty to keep their employees safe. And so they can still require that if you are sick, they can require that you stay home and that you won't be able to come back until you have medical clearance from a doctor.
And can I refuse to go to work for fear of exposure?
There are certain circumstances where you can refuse to go to work. Under the OSHA guidelines, which is meant to keep employees safe while at work, they state that if there's an imminent danger or immediate threat to your health, your physical well-being, or an immediate threat of death, that you can refuse to go into work. That just can't mean that you're scared to go into work. You have to show that there is an imminent danger. And an example of that would be someone in the medical field who works with medical patients. And if they go into work and their employer doesn't have or isn't providing them PPE, personal protective equipment, and they're dealing with sick patients, that shows that there's an imminent threat to them, a risk of physical harm and of death. So that would be an example as to when you can refuse to go to work.
All right, great information. Sondra Santanelli from PSRB, thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam.